now the question is, if neural networks are that powerful, why exactly we need convolutional neural networks, which is like the next lecture, which we are going to cover today. Let me give you like a brief motivation for that, why exactly we need convolutional neural network. So neural network, as I said, these are like fully connected layers. This is like a name you will also see are being used for MLPs. You will have input, right? Then you will have some input layer, hidden layer, output layer. So this is like a very general structure of your neural network. Now, if you think about this, the number of weights you have in your first layer, it depends upon how many neurons you have in this layer. So that's one factor. And we saw that in the pop quiz, right? And it also depends upon how many dimensions you have in your input data. If it's small, then it's fine. We can build it. But if the number of inputs you have in your signal, it's too high, that will lead to like a lot of parameters here. Okay, so let's see like a very simple example. So if we use image as input, then let's say your height and width of your images like H and W, let's say these are 256, 256. And then C is for channel. So it's colored image, then it will have like three different channels. So if we send like this image directly as input to this neural network, then this image has these many values. Okay, this is approximately like 200K, which means that even if we use, let's say 10 neurons, which is actually quite few, like for this big image, that will lead to like 2 million parameters here, which is a lot. And the reason is like for each neuron, you have to learn weights corresponding to all the dimensions you have in your input. Okay, so that's one of the limitation why neural networks are not generally used for images when image is the input, because the dimensionality is too high. Okay, so that's one of the limitations. The other limitation is, I mean, of course, you don't have to use like the pixel values. You can actually use handcrafted features, and we're going to talk about these features as well. But the issue is the performance of this neural network will then be limited by like what kind of features you are using. If your features are not good, then your network will have like limited capability. All right. So now let's see how CNN resolves this issue. And of course, we have a full lecture on this, how CNN works. So if you don't understand any part of this, don't worry about it. We are going to cover everything in detail in the next lecture. So CNN is, it's called convolutional neural network. And one of the ways it differs from neural network is when it's trying to learn these weights are actually not specific to your input data. All right. So these kind of neural networks try to share those weights across all the input locations. And the way they operate is, so your neural networks are actually working on your flattened input, right? So it's always like one-dimensional, or you can say like a flattened single-dimensional input, and that's your input, and that's always your output. But with CNN, you always deal with volumes. So your input will be volume. So this is your image, let's say height and width, and these three channels. And from a volume, you go to a volume. And again, you keep like transforming volumes to volumes, and at the end, you will get the results. And while you do so, what happens is when you're operating on any part of this input data, it could be anywhere, like at the input space or like the feature space, you're actually sharing the weights across these locations. Okay, if it's not clear, don't worry about it. Just try to understand that we are sharing weights. How we are sharing weights, we'll cover that later. So if you're sharing weights, then it means that it doesn't matter how big your input data is or how big your input image is, because you will use the same set of weights for different locations. So your weights will not increase. So your weights are actually kind of independent of what kind of input data you're using. All right. So that allows your CNN to operate on like big images, which we saw was very difficult with neural networks. And so that's like the basic difference between CNN and MLP. But being said that, don't underestimate the power of neural networks. So I'm just going to show you one very interesting example. And this is very recent ongoing research. People are still like working on this topic. So this concept of NERF, most of you might have heard of this, was introduced in 2020. And since then, people have like have been like working a lot in this direction. So the idea here is, if you have like a discrete view of any object, right? Which means that, let's say, if you have some images of this object from different viewpoints, but you don't have the continuous space, the full 360-degree view. So what this kind of models can do is it can generate like this continuous 3D space for you, which is quite impressive. So some of these views were not even like present in your input signal, and you can say like maybe interpolation or some kind of transformation, your network was able to do that, right? So same is the case with the second one, with like very few examples from different like discrete viewpoints as input, it was able to generate this continuous 360-degree view. And in this work, like MLPs were used. Of course, I mean, recently we have seen like CNNs can also be used, but initially MLPs were used, and the results I'm showing, this was actually using MLP. So it's not that MLPs are not used today. I mean, they still are used a lot. Okay, so this is like one of the impressive results which we have.